Hello, Happy New Year, and welcome back to season number 5 of the Leading Yourself podcast. As we kick off the year with a new podcast episode, with a new season, get ready to embark on a transformative journey. In today's episode, we're going to dive into your blueprint for a remarkable 2024. In this episode, we're going to unveil a step-by-step guide to elevate your ambition, crush your goals, and craft a purposeful path for this upcoming year. So join me as we explore the power of purpose and as I provide you some practical strategies to master your goals and redefine resolutions for a fulfilling 2024. Welcome to the Leading Yourself podcast. This is your host, Carolina de Arriba. I'm an HR professional, health and fitness coach, wife, mom, and above all things, a goal-getter. In this podcast, we're going to be digging into all things leadership, professional and career development, habits, and relationships. This is a podcast for those who want to become the best version of themselves. Those who have big dreams and are willing to embrace the journey and put in the work to achieve them. My goal is to share with you the tools, tips, and tricks to help you in your journey. So let's dig into today's episode. First of all, Happy New Year. I hope you had an amazing time over the holidays. We certainly did. We took a family vacation. We just came back yesterday after 11 days out on an adventure. And I came back just to get COVID. So I'm a little bit sick as I'm recording this, and my voice might not sound as it typically does, and that's the reason. But I'm here and I'm ready to kick off the year alongside you with today's episode. Today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about the blueprint for our remarkable 2024. As we start a new year, I think it's a perfect opportunity for us to reflect and be purposeful and intentional on how we want to approach this new year so we can make 2024 really a remarkable year. So I kind of alluded to this already, but I think it all starts with gaining clarity. Gaining clarity of what you want 2024 to look like, to feel like, how you want to show up in 2024. If you were sitting a year from now in January of 2025 and looking back into 2024, what would make you feel proud and fulfilled and happy about 2024? About what happened in the year, about how you showed up, about what you accomplished, all of those things. A great exercise that I love to do to help me gain clarity is a vision board, which I covered on your Design Your Best Year challenge that we did at the end of last year. So I recommend you go back to those episodes because I explain how to go about creating a vision board. Another exercise that I love to do is to write a letter to my present self from my future self. So think about that you're sitting in January of 2025 writing a letter to your present self. What would you tell your present self if you were 1 year ahead on time, right? And I know for me, I will tell my present self to raise my ambitions, to recommit to what matters most. And we're going to talk more about those things. But today, what I want to give you is this framework on how to approach your goals in 2024 so you can have a remarkable year. If you know me, you know that I personally do not believe in New Year resolutions. If you have ever looked at the statistics, that is the reason why I don't believe in New Year resolutions. 80% of people give up on their New Year resolutions by mid-February. And I think one of the biggest reasons for that to be the case is actually two things. One is lack of clarity, not knowing really what is that they want to accomplish in the year, right? To set very vague resolutions, or resolutions that are a cookie cutter type of resolutions, like losing weight, right? Is a great example. I think probably more than half of the world's population have that as a New Year resolution every year, without having the clarity of what that exactly looks like or feels like, right? And the second reason is that we overestimate what we can accomplish in the short term, in a month, in a week, in a year, and we underestimate what we can accomplish in the long term, a year, 5 years, 10 years, which means that we set these New Year resolutions and we expect that by the end of January, we have accomplished all of them. So, what I want to share with you is a framework that will change your perspective on New Year resolutions. As I said, I don't believe in them, but I do believe in gaining clarity, setting a vision for the year, and setting goals for the year. So, here is 8 steps on how you can make 2024 a remarkable year. The first thing, after you have gained clarity, I would say gaining clarity is the foundation. The next step is to go deeper and find the real reason why your goals are your goals. When you set a vision for the year, you probably have already set goals for this year, right? Are there smarter goals? And we'll talk more about smarter goals in the future. I have covered that in previous podcast episode. You can go and listen to some of my goal setting episodes that I've done in the past. But most likely you already have set goals for this year. But have you take the time to really dig deeper to find the real reason why you chose those goals? Why are those goals your goals for this year? What is the why behind? And I like to use the 5 why technique here to go deeper to really the root of why that goal is our goal. And sometimes when doing this exercise, we find out that that is not really the goal, right? That is just a symptom of our true desire and our true goal. So, gaining that clarity on what really will make this year remarkable and why is the very first step. The second step is to make sure that we are realistic. As I said, we tend to overestimate what we can do in the short term and underestimate what we can do in the long term, which brings me to point number 3, and that is give yourself the entire year to reach your goals. Don't try to cramp everything in January, right? Because what happens is we reach burnout and then we give up on our goals. And I think that is one of the reasons why people tend to give up on their goals, because they set unrealistic expectations and they try, or they think that they can accomplish them in just 30 days, right? In the first 30 days of the year. If you have set good goals for the year, to make 2024 a remarkable year, it's probably going to take you the full year to accomplish those goals. So set goals that are realistic and give yourself the entire year to work on those goals. And knowing, being clear that is going to take you the entire year is going to help you to stay on track and not give up, thinking that you're behind. Have you felt that like that before? I have, right? We go through the year and it's end of February and we haven't accomplished our goals and we think we are falling behind and that we have failed. And it's just month 1 or 2 of the year and the year has 12 months. So think about how can you break down your goals throughout the year so by the end of the year you can actually accomplish those goals. Number 4 is it's important that you don't have a goal without a flush out plan. I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that people make. You need a plan that is concrete, right? If you set a goal, I want to lose weight this year, and therefore I'm going to exercise more and I'm going to eat less. That, first of all, it's not a smart goal. I doubt that that is actually your goal. There's a deeper why, there's a deeper goal than just losing weight. But second of all, exercising more and eating less is not a concrete plan, right? We need a concrete plan. The more concrete you can be on how you're going to get to achieve that goal, the better. And January is a perfect time in the year to spend some time putting together those plans, thinking through what would be the milestones to get there, what would be the things that will help you achieve that goal. Another thing that it's important, I think, is to start slowly. So you can work on developing habits. I think habits are the foundation to help us achieve our annual goals. It's our rituals and our habits that eventually is going to help us once we develop that consistency to achieve those goals. So thinking about what are the habits that I need to implement that will enable me to achieve my goals this year, and making sure that I start small and slow, right? I don't want to start 10 habits at the same time because that is a recipe for failure. You want to start with 1, 2, maximum 3. And once you have those under control and well established, then add another 1 or another 2, right? And start to pile those habits. Start to stack those habits. We're going to talk more about that. You know, if you have been following the podcast, that I treat every year as a book with 12 chapters and 365 pages. And I like to put a title to each chapter of my book. And this month of January, the title of this chapter for me personally is Habits. Why? Because I believe that habits are the foundation for a lot of things, but for sure to help us and enable us to achieve our goals. That if we do achieve, will help us feel like 2024 was a remarkable year. So I started to break down what are the habits that I need to implement in my day to day if I want to leave the 2024 that I ambition in my vision board. So my power word for 2024 is vibrant. And that for me means that I feel at my best, that I have vibrant energy, that I have energy to do all the things that I love to do, right? I want to feel vibrant every day of 2024. And there's a lot of layers that go into that. But I broke that down into what are the habits that I can implement in my day to day that would allow me to fulfill that in 2024, to live vibrant, to feel at my best in 2024. Now, if I try to implement all of those things at once, I know I'm going to fail because it's it's just making things harder than they need to be. So start small, start slow, start with 1, 2, 3 habits, and then stack new habits once you have those under control. Number 6, I think it's important to think ahead and to know your excuses and obstacles. What are some of the excuses that you can see yourself making throughout 2024? Or what are some of the obstacles that you might need to overcome during the year? And try to think ahead and try to plan ahead on how you will overcome them. So if I know that not having enough time is going to be an excuse for me, what can I do to overcome that? Maybe is planning ahead or blocking time in my calendar or saying no to certain things. Think about What are some of the excuses and the obstacles that may come up, that you might come up with, and how you can plan to overcome them? And here's the thing, when you start to think ahead of what those might look like, you're already preparing yourself from when they happen. And as I said at the beginning, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So if you already are aware that those things might happen and you're prepared to overcome them, you're more likely to overcome them because you have the awareness and you have the plan. The next one, number 7, is to realize and to accept that there are going to be ups and downs, and that is part of your journey. Accept it will be hard, but it will be worth it. You know, we all will wish that we had a smooth year, that things always go our way. I think we will all love to experience life in that way, but that's not life. That is not reality. The reality is, in every journey, there's ups and downs. And as hard as it is to accept that it's going to be hard, we need to be convinced that it's going to be worth it. And knowing that and accepting that will help us to keep pushing through in those times that we feel like giving up. Because we know that staying strong, that staying resilient is going to be worth it at the end. Because we have clarity about what we want to achieve and we know exactly what we need to do. Even though sometimes along the journey is going to feel like we don't know and that we're lost. If you have that North Star guiding you, meaning your vision for the year, your ambition for the year, that is going to help you stay on track, right? And that ambition and that vision for what you want 2024 to feel like, to look like, needs to be aligned with what matters most to you. And when it's aligned and when you have a deep why, remember that was the first thing we talked about, then you're going to push through because you know it's worth it. You know it's all that you want. And the last thing goes in this same direction of mindset, which I think it's so critical if we want to make of 2024 a remarkable year, or any year a remarkable year, is don't just know that you can do it, know that you will do it. It's a very subtle difference when you say it, when you hear it, but it's a world of a difference when you're experiencing your year. It's not the same to know that you can do that thing that you want to do this year, that knowing that you will do it. Because when you know that you will do it, there is no obstacle that can stop you, right? There's no setback that is going to stop you. There is no challenge that is going to stop you, because you know that you will get to the finish line. So you're going to do whatever it takes to get there. You're going to get through those obstacles and those challenges and those setbacks. You're going to find the resilience in the journey because you have certainty that you are going to do it, that you are going to get to the end of the year and you're going to look back and you're going to feel proud of yourself for what you did, for what you accomplished, for how you showed up in 2024. Because you have certainty that you are worth having a remarkable year. So let me summarize what we covered today, how to make 2024 a remarkable year. We started saying we need to gain clarity about what that means. What does remarkable mean for you? What would make 2024 a remarkable year for you? Set some goals around that. and then go deeper to find the real reason why your goals are your goals. What is the why behind your goals? Make sure that they're realistic. Make sure that you give yourself the entire year to reach your goals. Do not overestimate what you can do in 1 year or in 1 month and underestimate what you can do in the full year. Don't have a goal without a flush out plan, right? And make sure that your plan is concrete. Then start small. Start identifying what are some habits that are going to enable you to achieve your goals, and start small with 1, 2, maximum 3 habits. Once we have those under control, when you have built consistency around those, then add more. Trust the process. Know what your excuses and obstacles will be along the journey, and make sure that you have a plan on how to overcome them before they actually happen, before they actually show up. Realize and accept that there will be ups and downs, and that is part of the journey. Accept the fact that it's going to be hard, but know that it's going to be worth it. And then don't just know that you can do it, know that you will do it. Have certainty that you will make 2024 a remarkable year. And that is the framework, the recipe to make 2024 a remarkable year. I hope that you're having a great start of the year. I hope this little framework helps you to start framing your remarkable 2024. I am so excited to dig into this season of the podcast with you, to share my journey along the way, to walk alongside you in this journey, in this year, trying to make our year a remarkable year. I hope you have a great day. As always, if you found today's podcast helpful, do me a favor and share it with a friend. And with that, I'll see you next week for another episode of the Leading Yourself podcast.